I shared with you last Sunday that our church's motto, which is knowing, resembling, and sharing Jesus. That's the motto of our church. And I think this contains very important, the aspect of Christian life. First of all, we must know Jesus, and we must resemble Jesus, and we must share Jesus with other people around us. So last Sunday I shared with you about the first process, which is knowing Jesus. We must know Jesus, and when I say knowing Jesus, it's not just about the head knowledge, but knowing Jesus personally, intimately, in your relationship, in your daily walk with Jesus. So, there are many different levels of knowing. Some people we know that personally, closely, but some people just know from through the third party. There are many famous people that we read in the newspaper, but we don't know them, personally. So we must know Jesus, and we must walk with Him, talk with Him, and we must be influenced by Jesus. That's the most important the step in our lives. And once you know Jesus, the next step is to become like Jesus. We must resemble Jesus in every aspect of our life, in the way you think, in the way you talk, in the way you have a relationship, and in the way you spend your money, spend your time, in every aspect of our life, we must be like Jesus. It's far much more important than doing something for Jesus. We must be like Jesus. Being is more important than doing. We must be like Jesus, and then we must do things for Jesus as well. Think about husband and wife. We have a sometimes totally different background, right? The husband is from America, wife from Korea, totally different background. But as you live together a long time, do you understand each other, right? And then you become like one another, the food and relationship and spending time together, you become like one another. In the same way, as we walk with Jesus in our Christian life, we must be like Jesus. And so people around us, even unbelievers, when they see us, they must find Jesus in our life. So that's the Christian maturity. When you say you believe in Jesus and you love Jesus, but if your life doesn't reflect who Jesus is in your life, people around you, they will not be willing to believe in Jesus. So once you know Jesus, and resembling Jesus is our next step. Let me share with you some of the Bible passages here, first of all. Why we need to be like Jesus. First of all, it's from Romans 8:29. It says that, for those God foreknew, He also predestined to be conformed to the image of His Son, that He might be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. God's goal in our life is to be conformed to the image of His Son. Why is it important? It began in the beginning, in Genesis chapter 1. What is so unique about the human life? Unlike all the other creation, man is created according to God's own image. That's what the Bible says in Genesis chapter 1:26. Man is unique. Man is a spiritual being. Man is made according to God's own image. But when man sinned against God, departed from God, rebelled Him, we lost the image of God. That's the result of sin. the image of God is lost in the life of sinners. But when you believe in Jesus, you must regain that image of God through Jesus. So resembling Jesus is like regaining the image of God, because according to the 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, Christ is the image of God. So to be like Jesus is like to be like God. That's the goal of our Christian life. Don't be just religious person. Coming to the church, reading the Bible, praying, that's important. But we must know why we do it. Why we worship God and why we read the Bible and why we pray to God. It is to be like Jesus. It is to be the person that God wants us to be. It is to be like Jesus. Even though you read the Bible and even though you spend a lot of hours, in prayer, if your life is not transformed according to the image of Jesus, that's useless. So there are many aspects in our life to be like Jesus, but I wanna share with you, especially today, about your attitude. As we read in today's message, your attitude should be the same as that of Jesus. In other Bible verses, it's your heart or your mind. Your heart and your mind should be the same as that of Jesus. So why is the heart or mind is important? Well, the word for heart in Greek is cardia. The word for heart or mind is cardia. From that word, we have the English word like cardiology. That's heart. The heart is so important, and the human problem began with the heart, and we can find the many. I'm going to read you several passages here. What happened to our human mind? What happened to human heart? Once we were created according to God's own image, but something went wrong. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 5 and 6, right before God, punished the world with a flood, the great flood, this is what the Bible said. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thought of a human heart was only evil all the time. The human heart, evil all the time. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. Once people departed from the Lord, their heart became evil, and then their inclination of thoughts in their heart became evil all the time. So that is who we are as sinners, and that's why God had to bring judgment and punishment, through the great flood. And Jeremiah, let me read with you Jeremiah 17:9 and 10. The heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. That's who we are before we come to know Jesus. Deceitful and beyond cure. There is no the remedy for that. Who can understand it? I, the Lord, search the heart and examine the mind. Our heart is deceitful, and there is no cure. But God is searching our heart and know exactly what's going on in our heart. And Romans 1:28, this is what the Apostle Paul said. Furthermore, just as they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, so God gave them over to a depraved mind, so that they do what ought not to be done. People did not want to have the knowledge of God. People did not want God in their heart, in their mind. And as a result of that, God gave them over to their depraved heart. defile the mind. And as a result of that, people are doing all the sinful things. We can see the list of the sinfulness, following the verse. There's another verse, Jesus talked about in Mark 7, 20 to 23, and this is like what's in the human heart. Okay, Jesus knew exactly. Jesus is God. As a God, he examined the heart of the people, and he knew exactly what we have in our heart. He said, he went on, what comes out of a person is what defiles them. For it is from within, out of a person's heart, that evil thought come. Evil thought come. Sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, lewdness, envy, slander, arrogance, and folly. All these evils come from inside and defile a person. That's the problem of our human heart. Nothing good here. It's evil. It's full of it. Once we leave God, the human heart became defiled and is full of evil. And the result is what? Romans 2:5. But because of their stubbornness and their unrepentant heart, you are storing up wrath against yourself for the day of God's wrath, when his righteous judgment will be revealed. People are full of evil in their heart, but they don't still repent. And as a result of that, they are storing up the wrath of God in the final judgment day. So we can see clearly from the Bible that as we sin against God, the human heart became defiled, and we are full of evil, and there's nothing good in our human heart. So we need to be changed from our heart. The reason that we must be changed from our heart is because the heart is like a center of the human being. And unless we are transplanted with the heart of Jesus, our life cannot be really transformed at all. So how can we have the mind of Christ? I want to share with you 3 steps here to have the mind of Christ. First of all, control what you think. Guard your heart, against the evil thought. In Proverbs chapter 4, verse 3, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. You have to guard your heart. And remember, there is a being giving you the evil thought and evil emotion and feelings. So you must protect your heart from that attack. And that the one who gave you the evil thought is a devil. It's just Satan. So Ephesians chapter 2, verses 2-3, it says that you used to live when you follow the ways of this world and of the ruler of the kingdom of the air, the spirit who is now at work in those who are disobedient. See, there's a being invisible behind the curtain, controlling the mind and heart of the people. He's called the ruler of the kingdom of the air. He's an evil spirit. And all of us also lived among them at one time before we come to believe in Jesus, gratifying the cravings of our flesh and following its desires and thought. Like the rest, we were by nature deserving of wrath. That's who we were before we come to know Jesus and be saved. So remember, our heart is like a spiritual battlefield. We must guard against the thoughts that the Satan is giving to us. We must guard our heart against the Satan's attack. And think of your heart as a garden. Whatever you plant in your garden, it'll grow and it'll occupy the whole garden, right? So we must make our heart as like a beautiful garden with all the thought that God gives to us, so that it can grow and become the beautiful. But if you don't guard your heart against Satan's thought, Satan will scatter the seed of jealousy, seed of hatred and anger and bitterness, and it'll come. It'll grow in your heart. It'll occupy the garden of your heart. So that's why we must defend ourselves. We must guard against the Satan's attack, for our heart. And the second step is we must fill our heart with the thought of Jesus, with the mind of Jesus. Suppose you come into a room full of darkness. How would you make it bright? Do you fight against the darkness? You try to expel the darkness with your fist and kick? No. The only way and easiest way to expel the darkness is switch on or open the window, open the curtain, and let the light comes. When the light comes, the darkness will go away. In the same way, we by ourselves, it's not easy for us to fight against the evil thought. And when our heart and mind is filled with the light, which comes from the Lord, that's the time that we can control our heart, and we can fight against the evil and have a victory. So the Bible tells us that in the Romans 8:5, the mind set on the flesh is death. The mind set on the spirit is life and peace. So we must set our mind on the spirit and follow the leading of the spirit. And we cannot fight against the darkness by ourselves. We need the light of Jesus. So that's why we must fill our heart with the mind of Jesus. For that, let me share with you Hebrews chapter 3, verses 1, where it says that, therefore, holy brothers and sisters who share in the heavenly calling, fix your thought on Jesus. Fix your thought on Jesus. So think about yourself. How many hours do you think about Jesus during the day? We must fix. We are so busy with all the things we do, daily chores, and we kind of easy to forget who Jesus is and what would Jesus do. But for us to be like Jesus, we must fix our thought on Jesus. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2 says that, let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and the perfecter of our faith. Author and perfect our faith. That means Jesus is the one who gives us faith, and Jesus is the one who makes it perfect. So only Jesus can change you. Let Him change you. In our Christian life, sanctification does not mean you try to be holy just by yourself. We need help. Unless Jesus helps us, we cannot be changed at all. So we have to fix our eyes on Jesus and fix our thought on Jesus and think in every occasion, in certain circumstances, what would Jesus do? And as you practice, that every day, I believe we can be more like Jesus. We're more like it. Even though you may not recognize it, people around you, they may recognize it and say that you are like Jesus. Well, this won't happen just accidentally. We need to have intentional living, trying to be Jesus. Fighting against evil thought and filling our heart with the mind of Jesus, and more than any other things, fixing our thought and our eyes on Jesus, thinking what would Jesus do in every moment of our life. And it's my desire that, I'm not perfect at all, and I'm still in the process as well. And it is my desire, all of our church members, to become like Jesus, day by day. Amen?